guys, welcome back to the channel, and I guess you guys came here looking for sort of a response video. I know a few of you guys, one in particular, pretty much been very desperate to get my take on this for whatever reason. I don't really know why. I don't really do straight emotional takes on these kinds of things. I tend to kind of dig into the paperwork and look at it, and then come out with a response once I feel like I understand the topic enough to speak on it. That's kind of how I've handled things on this channel for a while now. When you guys see me get emotional and upset, it's usually at a video game because I'm doing poorly. It's not at other people. That's not generally how I tend to handle my interactions with people. It's generally not productive, I don't think, and it generally doesn't do any good. What has happened in the last 24 hours or so warrants some form of a response. And the most response you're going to get is, huh? Like, really, a lot of this just does not make any sense from the standpoint of the person or persons that have kind of been involved. Some of them it makes sense because they've been very much against this product from the start. They didn't want to see it come out. They didn't like the people involved. They didn't like anything engaged with it, and they just don't want to see it succeed. And that's their prerogative. I'm very confused as to why you would attack something that doesn't even exist yet, trying to destroy it before it comes out. I don't see how it hurts your childhood in any way, but to each their own. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That's up to you. I don't have the same emotional attachment to the 80s Intellivision. I was a ColecoVision kid. I could have given two flips less about the Intellivision. I didn't really care much for the Atari either, so that wasn't my bag. I like this console based off the console itself. I've played it. I've had fun with it, and I want to have some more fun with it. That's the beginning and end of my emotional investment with this thing. I've been a fan of it because I like it. I've been a fan of it because I like what they're trying to do. I like the no DLC. I like the family fun for kids and the family group thing, and I think those are good things to put into a console. I think those are good ideals. I think the world can use that. So I support it. It's my prerogative. And that hasn't changed, for the record. That hasn't changed in the slightest, and it's not going to. The same morals and everything like that still are there that were there before. The price point may change, and they may struggle through things, and they may have these problems, and I may be worried about it for as far as a viability standpoint goes when it hits the market, but nobody knows what the market for this thing's going to be. I sure as hell don't. The main public doesn't even know about this thing yet, so they don't have any way of judging it for themselves yet. Do I have my concerns? Absolutely, I certainly do. Do I have any concerns towards Phil Adam? Absolutely not. Any concerns I would have had were answered within like 30 seconds last night, and I didn't even call him about that. I called him about something. I hit him up on a text about something else, and he decided to call me, and he felt the need to explain. Because that's how Phil is. If you call Phil and he thinks something's in question, he's going to address it pretty much head on and explain it. He's kind of an open book that way. He's always going to shoot straight with you on these things. That's the impression I get from Phil. And if you don't get that impression, then I don't even know why you would have invested money in this company in the first place. I mean, anybody who's invested money in this company has met these people. They talk to these people. You either get a feel for how these people are and what the product is, and you either buy into it and you invest or you don't. I've always been a big proponent of consumers being aware of what they're getting themselves into before they get themselves into it. You should educate yourself on anything that you're going to pick up, anything you're going to invest in before you invest in it. Do your homework, use your judgment, and invest accordingly. Now, if you want to turn around and do crazy snap decisions on stuff and flip and try to throw your own investment under the bus, I suppose that's your prerogative, but it kind of feels like high school or not even high school, because high schoolers have more maturity than that. It's more like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum. I don't understand it. I mean, these are mature adults with disposable income that supposedly make big deals. And here they are, like, stomping their feet and pouting on their channel. I can't even conceptualize that at all. The only thing I can think of is there was something else going on that took things this direction, that they were planning on, that they're hoping will work out, that may either help their channel or help them financially in other areas. And I hope that's the case. I hope it was far more calculated, because otherwise it just comes off as just foolish. There are far better ways to handle that. I was raised to not really air a lot of my dirty laundry in public. You talk to people, you come to an understanding, and if there are irrevocable differences, you walk away. You just don't talk to each other anymore. You just don't interact with those people anymore, because continuing to antagonize those people and to continuing to go into it doesn't really help anybody at all. Maybe that's why I don't do as well on YouTube. Maybe that's the mechanic about YouTube I don't understand. And quite frankly, I'm okay with that. Because from my viewpoint, these people are doing everything in their power amongst a colossal amount of crap that has gone wrong to bring a product out. They are taking very little income. If you look at the SEC filing, most of these guys make less money than some of the people that flip burgers make, or people that work retail jobs make. When it boils down to it, they make enough to cover insurance and have health insurance, and they work 14 to 16 to sometimes 20 hours a day to make a piece of plastic that plays video games. Those are facts. Those are straight up facts. And you can try to spin it any way you want to, but it won't change facts. Facts are facts. That's why I like them. That's why usually before I respond to anything regarding SEC filings and stuff like that, I try to do my homework. I try to do my own digging and find facts and ask questions and get answers to things. And then I put together what I think is a reasonable assumption based off those facts. I don't do snap video reactions. I don't just all of a sudden go, well, what was I playing? And that kind of silliness. Well, you know what you played. You played it. It was there. It's tangible. You had a controller. You played it. That already makes it more than the chameleon. Which, when I talked to Phil, he directly went into that, explaining that. And he spent roughly 2 hours on that project. He loaned them his name to tack onto it, hoping it would garner them some money to make it a tangible product. What he saw was not a good product. It wasn't really a product. And he recommended that they not kickstart it because it didn't seem like it was a viable product. They didn't have anything yet. They didn't even really have a working prototype. This didn't make any sense. And he said, I wouldn't kickstart this if you do, you're crazy. That's probably not that's not the exact phrasing he used. He phrased it a little more eloquently than I just did. And then he walked away from it. But he let them use their name in case it would help them garner anything that would actually help the product come to light. And that was the end of his involvement. And I wasn't the only person he had that conversation with. Every other person I talked with that I'm friends with on this, that had that conversation with him, told me the exact same thing. Which makes me think that's the truth. Because the more you tell a story and the more it deviates, the more it is you're just feeding people a lot of crap. And it wasn't. It was the same thing consistently, over and over and over again about the involvement. That's it. That's all there is to that, guys. As far as the SEC filing, that serves two purposes. And I'm going to try to do more on this as I get more information. I don't have enough to do a full video on this yet. Here's the short and skinny of how these things work. You're dealing with non-accredited investors. What that is that someone who has limited investment experience and makes probably less than $200,000 a year. I know that sounds laughable because that's a pretty significant sum of money, but people that are in those financial situations generally have less money that they can invest. They can divest less, so they can't really protect themselves from bad investments as well as somebody who makes millions of dollars and can invest in like far more items, and this becomes just another line item that was lost. That was a loss compared to the other 9 wins that they made, meaning they had a net gain because the others did well and this one did poorly. It's kind of like gambling, right? You hedge your bets in a smart way and you hope they all come up, but if some don't come up, you have others that can stabilize your income enough to where you still made a profit. That's how investing works. So they have to spell things out in the worst way possible for these new investors and these investors that don't have the kind of income where they can soak any kind of loss. So what they do is they spell out the absolute worst scenario that's humanly possible in every conceivable way. And that is required by law. SEC Form C requires that. And when that's filed, that is meant to do two things. One, it protects the consumer who's going to invest so that when they invest, they know that these are the potential things that can cause them to take a loss on this product, right? And the second thing it does is it protects the company, because the more details that they can put in there on potential things that can bring the investment to a halt and make them not be able to get any money, or delays in revenue, or this, that, and the other, the more chances they have to not get sued. Because if it's not spelled out appropriately, they can potentially get sued for not explaining that to the consumer. That's what that's for. So a lot of what you guys are war drumming, beating the war drum on lately, is them spelling out the absolute worst case scenario, because it's required, so that they can try to raise money on this thing, so they can try to bring more, do the product out more effectively. My feeling is that they can at least get a run or two out and get those into people's hands, and then at that point they're going to probably need more investment on that to be able to get it out. And that's what Start Engine's for, is to help them be able to manufacture this thing and get this out to people. It's not that the product doesn't exist, it's a matter of manufacturing and having enough money to really effectively manufacture the product. That's the way I think it's done. I can't speak for sure. I don't have enough facts. This is all speculation on my point. And take it as such. Take it strictly as speculation. Don't think anything other than the SEC filings and stuff like that. That's fact. What I'm talking about now is speculation. And take that into account. As far as the people that have recently thrown things under the bus and made multiple videos and just gone off the handle, I truly do not understand that behavior. It doesn't make any sense from a grown adult perspective. If it was somebody who was in high school, if it was somebody who was younger, who had a channel and had an emotional reaction to it and made a video, that makes more sense. And in the age group that's in a lot of this stuff right now, I expect a little bit more level of maturity emotionally out of this, and being able to ask questions of people before they make responses. The fact that they couldn't pick up the phone and talk to somebody, or didn't feel that they could trust them, that's one thing. But if you didn't trust them, then why did you invest, is the question. Like, if you should have gotten a good feel for what these people are like, what their character's like, what the product is like before you invested. This wasn't the first time you've met these people. You've talked to them multiple times. You've been to multiple events. You've talked extensively with these people enough that you should know what these people are like before you put money in. And I assumed that's what you did. Maybe not. Either way, damage is done. The only thing you've done is try to appease people that I don't think are really going to give a flying flip about this sudden turn of events, and hurt an investment. Hopefully you got enough investments out there that you've diversified enough that if what you've done causes enough harm, that it doesn't hurt your wallet too much. Actually, I kind of hope it's the reverse, but that's because I've lost a lot of respect for certain people in the last 24 hours. Unfortunately, people I consider friends and the people I consider morally upstanding and responsible adults have now reverted to 5-year-olds throwing a tantrum online, as opposed to dealing with things in a mature adult manner and actually having conversations with people to try to gain a level of understanding. So, I mean, I could treat you like a 5-year-old if you really like. I don't really see the point, though. So, in that regard, that's mostly my response. I am sticking by the company that I think is doing the best that they can. I am friends. I consider myself friends with a lot of these people. I still want to play the product. I still like the product. I still like what the product's trying to do. I think it's a viable product. The market will say whether or not it is viable when it actually hits the market. And that's what I've said from the beginning. Any price point that they put out there is going to have to prove itself in the public market, and the public market will decide. It won't be me, it won't be you, it won't be anybody probably watching this video. They could probably care less. Because most of the people that are going to watch this video are going to be people that either want to like downvote it and leave a snide comment, or people that are giving it a thumbs up and supporting it that have already been invested in this for a while. And that's the majority of what's going to see it. Mom and dad with the kids aren't really going to see this. They're going to look at the product in the store and they're going to do the math in their head and look at the value of it and decide if it's for them. And that's really what's going to determine the success of this thing, because those are the people that aren't involved in all this mess. And happily, God, thank you, God, that most people aren't involved in this madness, because this is the most ridiculous thing I think I've seen in years. I mean, it's a plastic box that plays video games, for Pete's sake. And I think it's laudable that through everything that they've already gone through, all the hits that they've taken, all the problems that they've run into, all the setbacks that they've had, that they're still pushing forward with this thing. They haven't closed up shop before now. They're still trying to get the Stagum thing out so that you can pay pennies for games and enjoy them. That's really what it boils down to. Now, whether or not you see the value in it is up to you. Whether or not you see the value in an investment is up to you. I'm not pushing anybody one way or another. I've always been a big advocate of the consumer. Beware, consumer, educate thyself, and make an educated decision on whatever you buy or whatever you invest in. Now, if you fail to do that, throwing a fit like a 5-year-old doesn't help you. If you didn't do your thought process and you didn't do your due diligence before you invested, then maybe that's all you have left. How do I know at this point? People I thought I knew, I didn't know. So, thing. I'm not going, and right now I'm sticking with them because these people they're taking their lumps. They're taking heavy lumps. And whether or not I lose a little bit of money on this is irrelevant to me, quite frankly. I lose a little bit on pre-orders and then lose a little bit on pre-orders. I don't know for sure if that money's protected or not. I've asked. I haven't gotten a response. I don't know if it is or not. I've got the physical games, so if the console doesn't come out, I take a loss on those. I know that. And that's a loss I'm willing to accept, because I was trying to help support the product. I was trying to help bring it to market. That was a little way I could do it. There wasn't any investment opportunities, and I don't know if I have the finances right now to invest in it now. So I don't know that I would actually invest in it at this point, because it's just not in the cards for me financially. But I can certainly support them here with my voice. Say that I think they're doing everything they can to bring this thing to market. They're doing everything they can to get this thing done, to get this out the door. That's laudable. That is worthy of my respect. These people are my friends, and they're going to continue to get my support. If you don't like that, that's your problem, not mine. If you don't like it, then go away. If you want to leave a critical comment on here, that's fine. If you want to do a smear campaign here, you're going to get banned. I'm going to have zero tolerance for BS on this video. That's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm just not. You can either be respectful and have a decent conversation, or you can get out. And I pretty much run my channel that way for a long time, and it's only going to get more that way. Now, if you have interest in it and you have questions, legitimate questions, I'm more than happy to try to ask those questions and see what I can get. If I can get something, great. If I can't, I can't. I can't promise anything, because there's certain things the company will tell you. There's certain things they won't tell you. There's certain things that people in certain places in the company know that nobody else in the company knows. That's how all companies work. That's just how it works. That's how business works. Don't understand that, then you probably shouldn't be talking about it in the first place. Just like if you didn't know where your money was getting invested, probably shouldn't have done the investment, and you probably shouldn't have tried to nuke your own money. Sorry, I thought I was done with that one. I guess not. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, happy gaming.